oversized man, or something that looks like a man.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog.
Hello, folks. Reverend Rick here.
Hello?
Robin?
Yeah.
See if maybe this will work a little better. We had a real bad connection or something. I could barely, it sounded like you were way off in the distance.
Okay.
No, anyway, when was it that you and your kids had this first sighting?
Okay, we were home from church one night, and we were driving by this little bar on the side of the road, and as we were going by, it looked like somebody was laying in the ditch looking at us. And because when he lifted his head up, it looked like he was wearing a big white coat, like with a white fur around the collar.
Yeah. Like a big fur coat.
Yeah, and so and the face looked really, really strange. It was a really big face, and his you know, like when you're looking at somebody with one eye and your face is, your lip is way up, and you just I got scared because it was in the winter time, and I thought if we went on by, then he was drunk and he came and passed out on the side of the road, and I thought if we left him there, he'd freeze to death. So we turned around immediately and went back, and we didn't see anybody walking away. We didn't see anybody laying on the side of the road. And later, at that time, we saw him. I didn't realize it was a white Bigfoot.
Really? Huh.
So, yeah, but his face was pink, and you know, I mean, it looked like a human face, just a really big, weird-looking dude. I thought it was just a big Indian.
His face was pink?
Yeah, his face, flesh-colored like ours.
Right.
And but it just looked really strange, and it scared my kids. So we didn't see anybody walking away. We didn't see nobody going through the field. And so I just left. We just thought, I don't know what happened to him. So that was the first time.
Well,
the second
before
time,
you go to the second one, did you get a good look at the face, or was it too distant?
Yeah, I actually have a picture of one when we were in the Black Hills, but I didn't see how close I was to it because I thought it was a big white rock. But when I looked at the picture, the way it was looking up at me is exactly the way that Bigfoot on the side of the road was looking. And when I showed the picture to my kids, my son was like, "Mom, that's what we seen on the side of the road that time."
Yeah, albino is my guess too. Yeah, because the pink face. Usually, the people report them having an ashy gray or black face. Not that pink, a regular skin tone would be out of, or a white skin tone would be out of the question, but generally, I think because of the white fur, I'd say it might have been an albino.
It could have been an albino, but I've seen other white ones before. I mean, they're up in South Dakota and up here where there's a lot of snow. There's other white ones. I have one that curled up into a ball when I took a picture of it. So really all you can see is like the profile, but you can barely see the eye profile. But you can see how the hair, when he's balling up, you can see how the hair sticks up.
Yeah.
Like a cotton ball.
Right. So you have quite a few white ones around there, and they all have this Caucasian skin tone to them?
Yeah. We have white ones. We have kind of reddish ones, black ones. And the weirdest thing is, how those bonobo, or however you say that, apes,
the giant chimp
that walk upright.
Yeah, the giant chimpanzees.
Yeah, and they have no hair on their head. That's just it's just like a shiny black head. And I've seen those in my pictures. I've never seen one, laid eyes on that one, but I've seen them in my pictures.
I'd like to get that picture. Is it really clear, or is it more of a blob squatch?
It's pretty clear. I don't know how to do it right. I'd have to, get off your show and then change a lot of stuff on my computer, and then I could send it to you.
Yeah, well,
Like in
when
an
you get a
email.
chance, if you send it to me, that would be great.
Okay. Okay, well, then the second time,
You okay? It sounded like you fell. You still there?
yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
So
I
the
heard the
second one,
second
we were
time, and that
driving
sounded like you fell over or something.
Yeah, we were driving on a bridge, and there, you know how those reeds are really tall? Well, I seen something standing there tall, but it was so quick, and in my mind, I saw a very tall cousin in long and blonde.
Yeah.
And then we turned around and went back to see, and it was gone. But it was standing there, and it must have seen us turn around. But anyway, it was just that quick.
Where were you located? I mean, if you don't mind,
But then,
where was this?
huh? This was in Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then on because we lived on the Nebraska South Dakota border, and I worked in South Dakota.
Okay.
So while I was at work one night, I worked a night shift at this drug treatment center, and the drug treatment center was right like there's what do you call those gullies that went around two sides of the house that I worked in.
Okay.
And I heard, to me, it sounded like maybe a rabid coyote coming up the hill, like the snorting and the wet. I mean, it just sounded really, really weird because they were talking. They were coming up the hill.
Really?
But at the time, I didn't know what it was. And then just before they came up the hill, I was like, oh, my God, those are Bigfoot. So I ran through the house, and I was turning off all the lights because I didn't want them to see me, but the emergency lights were still on. And when I turned around from turning the last light off, I could see the two figures in the window, but because of the emergency lights, I couldn't really see detail, but I could see one was against the window with his hand like on the roof of the house, leaned down, and the other one was standing further behind him. But you could see the outline. You could even see the outline of the fur sticking up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just that time it really, really scared me, and I just kind of collapsed on the floor crying. And the minute I started crying, they just walked away, and then they started talking again with that. And I've heard it before on other. I don't remember where I heard it online. I think I was listening to them on BFRO site.
Most people refer to it as samurai chatter. It's like
yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, but it sounded like wet, wet, like somebody has a cold and they're breathing really deep, and it's like kind of snotty,
Oh, really? I've not heard that before, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have any other sightings or?
No, those are the only ones I've actually laid eyes on. Now, these other ones, I knew when we were on our picnic, when me and my husband had gone on our picnic, we were just sitting there, but we knew they were there because they had structures, and it's in a city park. The park is pretty big, and it's, kind of overgrown and wild, but in our pictures, I've taken video, and I've taken stills off the video, and they were watching us, and I made it seem like we weren't looking at them, and I got a really good, clear picture of one, and I'll send you that, too. And that one was black, but the one that was standing over, he was kind of maybe like half a football field away, and we didn't see him, but he was like, his legs were like tree trunks, and it looked like he was wearing chaps. And just the bottom half of him, the hair was long, but on the top half of him, his hair was really short, but he was really built. I mean, like a football player, really, just really, really big. And he was looking at it through these two branches and in the trees. So you can't really see his head until you get until you look at it really close and enlarge the picture. but then you can't see it completely clear, but you can see detail. I mean, not detail, but you can see where the eye sockets are, the nose, the mouth, and then you can see his chest. You can see the nipples on his chest, and then how when it goes down to his legs, how they look like he's wearing chaps. And we looked at the tree, and I didn't have anything to measure it with, but
this is video?
Huh?
This was on video?
This was in the woods.
But you were taking video, or?
No, that one. Well, yeah, it was a still off of video.
Do you still have the video?
And do I still have the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have all my videos. I have them on one of those. My daughter put them on those sticks that you stick into your computer and download them.
Mm-hmm. The USB stick. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting that video too.
Yeah. I don't know how to send the video. I'll have to have my daughter do that at another time. But
sure.
I think I can. I think I can manage to send the pictures to your.
Sure.
To your email.
Yeah, that would be great. Whatever you could send me.
Well,
I might be able to enhance the video too. If I get the original video, I should be able to enhance it and bring out the detail of the Bigfoot a little better.
Okay, well, there was one that I took. We stopped at a different part of the park, and just as I started taking the video, and it's only like the first 5 seconds that you can see the Bigfoot. It looks like he's on his knees, kind of coming out from behind the tree to get a better look at me, and you can see it on my phone just as clear as a bell. But I've sent it to other Bigfoot researchers, and I had this one, and he tried to. Because when I downloaded it and sent it on the email, it was really blurry, pixelated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really hard to see. But he tried to straighten it up, and he couldn't really do anything with it. He said he was going to see if M.K. Davis could look at it, but then he couldn't get it good enough. It was so ambiguous, you know. It was kind of, I guess, not worth messing with. But on my phone.
Well, send me the original videos of whatever you think you have, and I'll do what I can with it.
Okay.
Now, what about your phone?
Okay. Yeah. I'm talking on my phone.
No, you were about to say something about your phone, and I cut you off. Oh,
no, yeah, it's really clear on my phone. Like, when I'm looking at the video on my phone, I can see that it's a Bigfoot. I mean, it was close enough to see that it was scooting out on its knees, and then it came out from behind the tree. But I didn't notice it as I first started taking the video. So it's only like in the first 5 seconds of the video, and then I keep going. But in that first 5 seconds on my phone, I can see it really clear. But like I said, when I downloaded it on my computer, and then my daughter sent it to some other people that, you know, look at that kind of stuff, and they said it was just really ambiguous because of the pixelated picture.
Right. Well, I mean, I might be able to do something with it. I just have to take a look at the original video. That's all.
Yeah.
Because once you make copies, it compresses it farther, messes it up more, you know, that kind of thing. So the original video is always the best to get a hold of. Like, especially off of YouTube. Like, if you download something off of YouTube really messes with stuff when you upload it. I mean, it looks good when you look at it, but if you that scenario, if you try to pull it down and blow it up, it just looks like crap. So the original video is always the best to get a hold of.
Yeah, and they are on my phone, so that's where I have trouble. I have the one downloaded on my computer from my phone, but I think that's where it started messing up, because I sent it here and I sent it there, and because they know what they look like, you know, and how they move, they could tell. But like, if I was trying to, you know, present it to the public, it would just be like blobspotch. It's not even worth it, you know. Right.
Well, you know, I'll give it a shot anyway. So, have you heard any stories about? It sounds like you have a lot of activity there. Have you heard any stories about the Bigfoots looking in like the windows of kids and that kind of thing?
No, not around here. And the ones around here are really quiet. I noticed because it's in the middle. It's a park in the middle of Lincoln, Nebraska. So they're very quiet. I mean, when we walk when me and my husband go, we can hear like the tree knock. I've never heard him whoop. I've never heard him holler. I went out there at night one time just to see if I could hear him moving around or, hunting or whatever. And you don't hear nothing, and nobody ever reports them of hearing, the howls in the night here.
Yeah, I was
but
interested.
The further out
the sound
the you get, you can hear them.
The sound you said you heard, was it like a chimpanzee going? Hoo, 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 hoo? Is that what you were talking about?
Oh no, it was going like, whoo, 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 but it was doing it really, really loud and really, really deep.
Oh yeah.
We were sitting in our front yard, and it was hollering from behind us on the hill.
Howler monkeys do that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's called a bark.
Yeah.
The howler monkey, they call it a bark anyway, and they go, they go,
whoo,
whoo, like that.
And I didn't know what it was. And my husband said he knew that it was some type of an animal, puffing. Yeah, but I never heard of it, and I was looking around for a helicopter. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was one of those military helicopters.
Yeah.
But then when I was listening to one of Will Jevning's videos, he was talking about that. He said, yeah, it sounded like a helicopter kind. I was like, oh my God, somebody else heard it that way.
Oh,
so
huffing.
That's how I thought it sounded too.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamar was just making a comment. He said it's called huffing, I guess. Maybe they were going hoof, hoof, like instead of the howler monkey bark I was talking about.
And it sounded like it sounded like he was standing right behind us, because we lived on a farm, out in the middle of nowhere, and there was a hill behind us, but there was all kinds of trees in a little wooded area. And my kids heard him talking on the other side of the hill, and it scared my daughter so bad one day that she just came running home and told me, Mom, there's something out there. But I think, because of all the stuff they used to throw things at our house, there was no trees over the house where something, like acorns could fall. So what they, how they throw things on the roofs and things like that. So that's what we were always hearing stuff like that. We were laying out on the car one night watching, those asteroids going by or whatever they call them.
Right.
And we had a blanket laying on the car, and we just all of a sudden got a creepy feeling, like something was about to reach out and grab us. So I just said, come on, we just grabbed our stuff and went in the house. But that was the only time that I ever felt creeped out, living there.
Yeah. Very interesting. And the park you're saying, it's in the middle of Nebraska or Lincoln. Are you saying it's completely surrounded like by city, or is it there's a wood line where they could make their way into the park?
Well, it's kind of getting out towards part of this. It's a big park, so part of it is in the middle of the city, but the part that we go to is surrounded by city, and then on one side of it, it's highway, and then it goes into another part of the forest. But considering city parks, and it's a big park, but it's not as big as like if you were like down in Florida, they have those Mayaca State Park. It's not like big like that.
Yeah, but, thank you, Stephanie. That's somebody made a comment there. So you think they got into the park following the highway? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm trying to figure out how they would have got there. I mean, I've heard of this before, but you would be the second time.
Because they come through They come through this place called Salt Creek, and there's always sightings of them through Salt Creek. So that Salt Creek is kind of really deep down, so they could even just walk through there at night. And so I think that they're coming and going that way, but also on the side where the highway is, all they have to do is cross the highway into another wooded area. But there's a railroad track going, because they don't seem to need a very big area to live. I mean, they might come down there and hang around, but it seems like they live there because there's a big structure there It started out maybe like a 7-foot teepee, and now it looks like almost like a longhouse. Like they changed the structure of it. And one of the big, tall trees they pushed over, and the root ball is up, but they've used that. It looks like to start another one, so like they're going to meet in the middle. And we take apples out there and leave them. I left them a hairbrush, and we were going to go back and see if they took that. And we showed them. I showed them. I brushed my hair, and then I had my husband brush my hair, so they would know that if they could do it themselves, or they could have one of the other ones do it.
Oh, you're liable to make them angry because they'll try to brush their hair and it'll get all tangled, and they'll go,
yeah. Yeah. But I just wanted to know, and I'm going to take a mirror out there next time. Leave a mirror for them and see if they take that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, you should stay in touch.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about what you're doing out there. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. I mean, we don't, we're not like out there every single day, but we go pretty regular, and we have fun doing it, and we can't trick them. They always see us because they're intelligent. They know what our car looks like. But when we go there, we don't just go straight into the woods. We sit at this picnic table and wait for them to gather because, they let each other know because we always hear something like a tree knock or, when we come. When we first get there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So you actually know when they're around because they knock and so forth.
Yeah, so we wait for a little while. We sit at the picnic table for about 20 minutes, and then we go out. And I don't always take pictures of them. I take, every once in a while I take a video. And sometimes, one time, the last time I went out there, I was trying to video from the time we stepped out of the van to the time we got up to the structure. And just as we got into the wood line, the video quit. And it didn't just quit, it just didn't take it. There was no video on there. It didn't just, shut my video off. It wouldn't even take it. But it would let me take photographs, so I took photographs. And in this photographs, you can see them peeking from certain places. But I don't know, and I just thought maybe I must have been like either really close to one, or maybe there was a number of them out there, because that's the first time. I mean, I've heard other people say that their equipment has failed and their batteries have failed and stuff like that. That's the very first time that mine's ever failed. So
yeah, I've heard that, but
there was no reason for it.
But I've been an IT pro since '88, and I know there are a lot of things that can cause crazy stuff with computers and electronics. I don't know how much credence I'd put into Bigfoot being able to do it. I think it might be more coincidence and just something crazy happened, that one time or whatever. But
the light splotches, that's funny.
What's that?
That Kevin DeFranco said polite splotches there.
Yeah.
Quiet. They are nice.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's a dog man over at, and see, this is why I don't think that they're separate all the time from the dog man from the Bigfoot, because I got a photo of a dog man. I didn't know I was taking it at the time because I was just aiming it at the woods. And this wasn't on video. This is before I started taking video. But if you enlarge the picture, you can see the dog man. You can see his face. You can see his mouth, his nose, and his eyes. And his eyes look really, really freaky like there. And it's gray, It was really hidden. I didn't see it for a long time. But, yeah, and he's there with, that's another group. I mean, so it's there with a group of Bigfoot. It's
yeah, send me that picture too. I'll see if I can enhance it and get some good detail on him. Is it something that you think could be enhanced and you'd see him quite clearly, or is it very blob squatchy?
No, it wasn't blobby. It was just like really gray, like kind of the same color as the woods around him. But
oh, well, I might be able to pull the detail out on that then.
You can't, when you enlarge the picture, you can see him.
Oh, that's good. I'll probably be able to pull it out then just by using some different color filters on it.
Okay. Yeah, and I knew that Dogman and Bigfoot usually don't like each other, but like I said, this one was right in the middle of the Bigfoot group that lived there. So, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just because it's a small area and they have to share. I don't know.
Hmm. Did you get down my email address?
Squatch hypothesis at Gmail.
Sasquatch, yeah.
Sasquatch, yeah.
And it's ES, not IS, because hypothesis, hypotheses. So
Yeah.
yeah, I should get a better email address, I think.
No. Yeah. So when I get off here, I'll work on that. I should be able to send you the stills, but the video, I'll have to work on that. Maybe my daughter can help me, like later on, because she's at work right now. She don't get off until midnight.
Yeah, by all means. I mean, keep in touch with me and send me what you can. And I'd like to really hear more about what kind of investigations you're doing out there and what kind of results you're having and that kind of thing. It's very interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
All right, Robin. Well, we've been on for a while, so I'll go ahead and call it quits. And thanks a lot for coming on.
Hey, no problem. It's nice talking to you.
Okay, you too. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. I hit the wrong button. And I stopped the stream and restarted it, so hopefully it kept. You guys still out there? Can you hear me? Give me a comment saying yes. Yeah, I hope she's able to get me that stuff because I'll be able to enhance it. And if it's as good as well, thanks a lot, Robin. If it's as good as she's saying it is, man, we'll get some really good pics and video out of that. Oh, Ashton, by the way, if you're still here, I wasn't ignoring you. I was just talking to Robin. That's all. I forget what it was you were asking me, and it's way back in the comments. So if you're still there. Bigfoot hunts dogmen. I don't know who was saying that. Oh, maybe they were hunting the dogman and you interrupted them. Oh. I don't know. Yeah, I would think it was the other way around because as I understand it, the dogmen are pretty, the heck is it? I don't know if y'all can hear that buzzing, but it's driving me crazy. I think my mixing panel's going crazy on me. Yeah, as I understand it, dogmen are pretty nasty and they would probably be the ones hunting the Bigfoot. Anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. We've been on for a long time. This was only supposed to be a really quick complaint about YouTube, and it turned into a show. I'm going to have to cut it up and turn that interview just into an episode by itself. So that might be probably sometime tomorrow. I'll get that put up there. And it'll say 20. I haven't numbered the other ones, I think, because they're not really episodes. But they're more of just talks and that kind of thing. But this episode, I'll call my interview with Robin an actual episode, and it'll come up with a number 20, so you can all listen to that, just that part of it. All right, anyway. So wait a minute, let me put my information up here again. If you have a story to tell and want to come on the show, go ahead and email me. Give me a one paragraph kind of real quick description of what it is, and I'll have you on the show. So until next time, y'all take it easy.